Y'all, there is nothing worse than going to a doctor's appointment expecting to be the center of attention, and then your doctors seem like they have better things to do and better places to be. I'm not with that, especially when it comes to myself and my kids. Instead of listening to intently, asking you how you feel, and helping you along the way, the doctor is checking the clock, trying to get you in and out. Anyways, on ZocDoc, you will find quality doctors who focus on you, listen to you, and prioritize your care. No more going down TikTok social media rabbit holes. No more asking your friends, hey, do you think this is normal? Or hey, do you think this is in the right place? And definitely no more doctors who are in a rush. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. When I was moving back and forth between LA and DC, I didn't always know where to go for the doctor. However, I used ZocDoc to not only find a pediatrician for my children, I was able to find a doctor for myself and a specialist for, those little special nitty-gritty questions that sometimes your doctor might send you a referral for. So no more doctor roulette or scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With ZocDoc, you have a trusted guide to connect you to your favorite doctor you haven't met yet. Millions of people use ZocDoc's free app to find and book a doctor in their neighborhood who is patient-reviewed and fits their needs and scheduled just right. Go to ZocDoc.com/think and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/think. ZocDoc.com/think. As you may know, I'm in my season of adulting, and it's the perfect time to take a fresh look at my financial planning, and I advise you do the same. If you've been meaning to get life insurance but have been putting it off, now is the time. With Fabric by Gerber Life, it's quick and easy to help protect your family's future so you can get back to enjoying life. Fabric was designed by parents for parents to help you get a high-quality, surprisingly affordable term life insurance policy in less than 10 minutes. Life insurance can have a bad rap for being complicated, but Fabric makes it easy to apply with its seamless digital experience. It's all online and on your time. So guess what, parents? Do it. If you need extra support, Fabric's team of licensed insurance agents can answer questions along the way. And guess what? It takes less than 10 minutes to apply, see your quote, and then personalize your quote to fit your family's needs. You could be offered coverage instantly with no health exam required. Fabric has a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. Protect your family today with Fabric by Gerber Life. Apply today in just 10 minutes at meetfabric.com/think. That's meetfabric.com/think. MEET fabric.com/think. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. Welcome to the Think Loud crew. We are three moms coming together to express ourselves in a safe space on the topics of parenting, lifestyle, growth, and our daily WTF moments. Today, it's just me. Cheyenne is she took Ryder on her spring break. That 6-year-old is living, or she's about to be 6, is living her best life. And Shanan, let's send some extra prayers to Shanan. She's had a doobie of a week. As we all know, being a single parent, the primary parent, just being a parent in general can be very, very difficult. And when life's hard. But today I'm really excited because we have a special guest. Yes. Welcome, Jade.
Thank you for having me.
So little backstory. I'm an LA baby, but Dina raised me. I'm a Pasadena kid, Altadena kid. So I know you from Pasadena, but I honestly don't know how I know you.
Honestly,
in that, I feel like that's a weird way to start, but Pasadena is so small.
Yes.
Where
so
you just know people.
I remember you guys going to house parties and stuff. So that's honestly where I remember you from. I don't know.
I went to Westridge.
Okay,
I went to an all-girls school, so I was really removed. From everyone. Where did you go?
I went to Pasadena High School.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to Pasadena High School, but I remember you just from going to parties all the time.
Okay,
so
yeah. I used to be at PHS a lot. I used to go to
I went to an all-girls school. I was like, where the boys at? So I have friends who went to PHS. I used to go to the basketball games, like the football games, like, what was it, the turkey tussle?
Yes.
Like,
yeah. So that's probably we just crossed paths there.
We were outside. But it was different back then in, like, high school. Like, it was just a different time. Like, we weren't on social media. Like, we were outside, like, meeting people, like, just...
Yep. Living our best little lives.
Yeah.
Now it's different. No, we're not going to no type of parties. I'm not letting my kids go to no high school parties, none of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We're both moms now. But yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. So Jade is here to share with us her IVF journey story. I'm going to give you the floor and just let you can give other backstory if you want.
Okay. So backstory, IVF stands for in vitro fertilization.
Okay.
Okay. So people that are typically struggling with infertility the final result will lead to IVF.
Okay.
So me and my husband, we were together for almost 9 years at the time. And we weren't actively trying to have kids for those 9 years, but the past year before that, we were trying to have kids.
So how old were you guys when you guys got together?
When we got babies. We were babies. So I was 19 at the time, and he was 25 at the time.
Okay.
So we were little babies. Now it's 13 years later. We're married.
Yes. So this happened. I just want to highlight you guys. This journey happened previous to them being married.
Yes.
Which I think is special because it's a very difficult conversation. It's an uncomfortable conversation, but you guys were able to come to it together before you were even like, we're married. So
right.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know where you want me to start.
So you guys weren't necessarily trying, but then there was a time when you were like, we're trying.
Yeah, so actively trying. We were actively trying for a year.
Okay.
Okay, so we were, at the time I was 27. So we were trying and nothing was happening. But mind you, we weren't like doing anything to prevent it before. I was on birth control, but you know how that goes.
Yes.
Actively trying, stop my birth control, actively trying.
Like ovulation planning?
Yes,
like,
ovulation planning, everything. So I would track my ovulation. I would still get my period every month. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about too. Like, it's really hard when you're actively trying and then you think like, okay, I tracked my ovulation, we did it on this day, and then boom, you get your period. So
like, why?
So that's like a whole year of like getting a period every single month, and we're like, okay, nothing's happening. So we tried to like eat better and like do all these things that we've seen online, and then finally we're just like, okay, let's just go to the doctor. So I thought it was me. That's typically what everybody thinks. Like you think like, oh man, it's the woman. Nobody thinks it's the man. So I'm getting checked out, doing all these tests, and everything turns out normal for me. So finally we get a semen analysis for Ted, and Ted's my husband.
Thank you, Ted, for sharing your story with us too, through your wife.
So we get a semen analysis for him, and it turns out it's male factor infertility.
Okay.
So there could be a lot of factors in between that. Like it could be like low sperm counts. That's what everybody always thinks, like, oh, low sperm count, and then that's why you can't have kids. But it's a lot of factors. So in our case, it was something called morphology, where he did have low sperm count, but basically the shape of the semen or the shape of the sperm.
This is so interesting.
Yeah, the shape of the sperm wasn't normal.
Okay.
And it wasn't saying like all of the shapes were not normal, but there
were some irregularities.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that's what it was for him.
I just learned something.
Yeah. Like, so a lot of people don't think it, and a lot of men are like, they don't think that they're the problem. But honestly, it's easier, I would say, in my opinion, to get the man checked out first, Because it's so easy. Like, you just
They ejaculate into a cup
Yeah.
and that's it?
Yeah, ejaculate into the cup.
What is the
and-
process with the woman? Like, what does that process
Well,
look
there
like?
could be so many factors of it. Like, a lot of women have, like, PCOS. What was it called? I'm sorry if I say it wrong. Sorry, not a doctor,
PCOS.
guys.
No, I'm learning about all these
okay.
things right now, too.
Yeah.
Like endometriosis, there's all these different
there's
factors.
a lot of stuff. So, like, a lot of stuff goes on in the woman body, or they have, like, cysts on their ovaries, or they're not ovulating. Like, there's so many factors to infertility for women. And I feel like if you get the man checked first, it's just so much easier because you just
It could just be a
your
quick process of
thing.
elimination.
Yeah,
it's an
exactly.
easier test to do.
Exactly.
Huh. Yeah, I'm learning. So right now I'm doing my certification to do vaginal steaming, and I'm learning of all these different things that are related to, the womb, the female body, that can like affect fertility or cause like infertility. So these are things that I'm like starting to learn about more, like
Right.
PCOS, endometriosis, things that you can assist with your fertility. But I haven't really studied the male side of it, so I'm going to do a little extra research there just because I do want to help families. It's not just about helping moms and women.
Right.
And it does need to be more of like, I think, a family conversation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like men, that ego, pride, like, how did you get to that point of him? Like, was he on board?
No,
Was it like,
absolutely
how did
not.
this happen?
He absolutely was not on board. He said, no way, we're not doing this. Like, he was saying, like, no, that's not natural. Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, it's a test tube baby. Like, there's, like, all these things that people say about it. But I had to kind of do my own research on it and kind of educate him. But, he was, like, I think it's, like, the man, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't, or a lot of men, they don't want to say, like, oh, something's wrong, or this is the reason why I can't. So he was like, I don't think he said it no because of that reason, but he was just like, no, I don't want to do it.
Like,
He didn't know
going
anything
there.
about it, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of told him, like, I kind of had to, like, do what the wife does, like, kind of play it down, like, no, it's okay. It's going to be a simple process.
You might enjoy it. No.
And
Really
so,
easy.
yeah, we talked about it.
Interesting.
We did talk a lot about it, and he finally agreed to go to the consultation with me.
About how long do you think that process was?
It wasn't that long, to be honest. It was
Okay.
just a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I don't.
Jade said,
loves
I'm
me.
the wife. I know what to do here, y'all.
Yes, he
love
trusts
it.
me. So I'm like, yes, no, we're doing this. And
Okay,
he
good.
said, okay. So that's one of the questions that I got. How do you pick, like, your doctor? Like, what makes you pick them, or what makes you feel comfortable? So I feel like you need to feel comfortable with your doctor. So you can go to multiple consultations if you want to, and see which doctor really makes you feel comfortable. You want to make sure that your doctor is knowledgeable and if they're experienced. Because that's what made me feel comfortable. Because
Is there like, are consultations free? Is there like a different kind of payment system with different consultations, different doctors?
yeah, so some doctors, they will charge a consultation fee.
Okay.
So, like, I think it ranges like $200 average, maybe like $250. So, like, that's something to think about if you're getting consultations. I mean, it's going to cost you to keep on doing that, But
Had you known anyone else who had gone through this? Like, were you just free willy out there? Like, just.
I had no idea. I literally
Okay.
was going on YouTube. I was Google YouTube. And that's why I want to do this, because, like, not a lot of people know.
Yeah. And I think it's something that really affects, like, our age group, and just families in general. Like, for me, there was a period of time where I was dating a guy and, like, I didn't get pregnant either. And I was, like, really thinking is something wrong with me. So that's when I got pregnant with Boz. I was like, ain't nothing wrong with me. Like,
Right.
I knew I could get pregnant, but it's like, yeah, I think that's the thing. I know my body has the ability to get pregnant, but I was with men who were not able to get me
Yes.
pregnant. So even when I look back, I'm like, oh, like, I'm having all these, like, realization moments where I'm like, oh, those times where I thought something was wrong with me or, like, my body, I feel like God was like, like,
Right, and that's what most women think,
Yeah.
right? You're like, well, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me?
Why am I not getting pregnant? then that's the
Y'all,
first
these
thing that
men
comes.
be making us feel extra crazy sometimes, and they just need to get checked a little bit more. And like,
And there's nothing wrong with it. Like,
no, it
why
really
don't you want to
isn't.
just know the problem? Just know the
Like-
problem, and then you can decide to move forward with it or talk about it. You don't want to go through with it.
Y'all, there is nothing worse than going to a doctor's appointment expecting to be the center of attention, and then your doctors seem like they have better things to do and better places to be. I'm not with that, especially when it comes to myself and my kids. Instead of listening to intently, asking you how you feel, and helping you along the way, the doctor is checking the clock, trying to get you in and out. Anyways, on ZocDoc, you will find quality doctors who focus on you, listen to you, and prioritize your care. No more going down TikTok social media rabbit holes. No more asking your friends, hey, do you think this is normal? Or hey, do you think this is in the right place? And definitely no more doctors who are in a rush. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. When I was moving back and forth between LA and DC, I didn't always know where to go for the doctor. However, I used ZocDoc to not only find a pediatrician for my children, I was able to find a doctor for myself and a specialist for, those little special nitty-gritty questions that sometimes your doctor might send you a referral for. So no more doctor roulette or scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With ZocDoc, you have a trusted guide to connect you to your favorite doctor you haven't met yet. Millions of people use ZocDoc's free app to find and book a doctor in their neighborhood who is patient reviewed and fits their needs and scheduled just right. Go to ZocDoc.com/think and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/think. ZocDoc.com/think. As you may know, I'm in my season of adulting, and it's the perfect time to take a fresh look at my financial planning, and I advise you do the same. If you've been meaning to get life insurance but have been putting it off, now is the time. With Fabric by Gerber Life, it's quick and easy to help protect your family's future so you can get back to enjoying life. Fabric was designed by parents for parents to help you get a high-quality, surprisingly affordable term life insurance policy in less than 10 minutes. Life insurance can have a bad rap for being complicated, but Fabric makes it easy to apply with its seamless digital experience. It's all online and on your time. So guess what, parents? Do it. If you need extra support, Fabric's team of licensed insurance agents can answer questions along the way. And guess what? It takes less than 10 minutes to apply, see your quote, and then personalize your quote to fit your family's needs. You could be offered coverage instantly with no health exam required. Fabric has a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. Protect your family today with Fabric by Gerber Life. Apply today in just 10 minutes at meetfabric.com/think. That's meetfabric.com/think. MEET fabric.com/think. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
At this point, for me, I personally want to know because I don't like birth control. I don't like the way it makes me feel. My body, like, I've tried different dosages. At this point, I'm like, I haven't taken it in years, but I'm like, I don't want it. I really don't want it. I probably need it, but I'm like, I really don't want it. Like, I would rather understand, like, what's going on with my man's, like, my husband's body. Like, what does healthy sperm look like? Like, what is going in me? Like, what am I receiving, first of all? Like, what is, now that I'm a little bit older and, like, I had my little wild heyday days, I'm like, what is this? Like, that exchange. So it's like I have more curiosities. So it's YouTube videos, Google. Did you guys involve your families, or did you guys do this, like?
We did it just us. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my mom.
Your friends?
I told a couple of my friends,
okay.
my close friends, yes. But we weren't married.
Yes.
And then, I don't know. I guess it's just that thing, like, why are you guys doing this? You're not even married yet or whatever. But okay, so a little backstory on that too. He's been wanting children since we've got together.
Okay.
So it was me that was like, no, I need to like live my life. I want to travel. I'm only 19 years old.
I'm so proud of you.
Like, no. So
that's good.
And I think that's why it's important to talk to your partner too, like what you expect from the relationship in the beginning, because that caused a lot of issues, of course, too, right? Because if somebody wants a kid so bad and then the other person doesn't want a kid, you're not on the same page. So that's important to talk about.
Yes.
So finally, when we do decide to have kids, it's like, now we can't. So I think that's really a topic to talk about too, because a lot of people will be like, oh, let me wait. But then you waited all this time and now you're kind of older and you're like, dang, now we can't even have kids.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people want to get checked out before.
Was there ever a moment where where it was like really affected your relationship to the point where it was like, I love you, but I don't know if I can do this?
Oh yeah, he told me that so many times. He loves me. No, he definitely.
I just feel like there's so much on the mental, emotional.
It's very
like,
mental.
The up and downs.
It's very mental because he was always saying like he meant to have kids. He was meant to have kids. He worked with kids.
Okay.
So you can imagine, like, he's working with kids. He's raising all of these kids with Parks and Rec. He's coaching all these kids. He's around all these kids.
Like,
and he's like, if you love me, why don't you want to have a kid with me? So it was miscommunication.
Okay.
It was definitely miscommunication. But,
okay.
Yeah, but
that's intense. Yeah.
But it's very important to talk about that kind of stuff, and it's important to get checked, I guess, before, because what if you can't have kids later?
Yeah.
So
it's interesting now that I'm like dating again, and like, you know, people, y'all, I've been home. It's only been a few weeks, and I've had some people approach me. I'm like, whoa, slow down. But it's like, this is my time to really ask people all those like raw questions that I'm like, I feel every woman or every couple, every partnership should actually ask each other. And these are things that I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to just know about your goals, your aspirations, your family, your history, your health, but like, how do you, like, are you open to these conversations? Like, how do you handle like tough conversations? Is it that fight or flight? Like, are we going to push through and figure it out to where you guys now have this, you guys were able to have like, come to a solution. Like it took a lot of work.
Right.
But it's like, that's when you really have to like dig deep. Like, how are you as a person, like when it comes to handling these things? So yeah, back to what I said this earlier to Jay, like I know the end result. We're going to get to it, y'all. But I'm proud of you guys for having that conversation or like dealing with family planning, within your unit. That felt right for the two of you. Like, I think that is a very difficult thing to do. And I feel like that's something that we need to talk about more or, like, teach our kids more or, like, just family planning. Like, rather than, oh, hey, I had a baby or, hey, this. But it's like, no, like, let's take control of our families again. And, like, you know, I was out there, I wilded out. Like, I didn't really do the whole family planning thing how I envisioned for myself or how I prayed for before, but like I'm very thankful, I'm grateful. I love my kids. Like, I wouldn't change anything.
Of course.
I would not change a single thing. Like, all the craziness I've dealt with, like, it's just a part of my story. But as I move forward, I know I do want more children, and it's like that conversation of family planning, I think, is really something that's becoming near and dear to me.
Yeah.
And it's so okay, back to you though. So you guys are doing the consultations. What is like the next step after the consultations or you get your diagnosis?
Right. So at this point, we've already known that it's male factor because we already did the semen analysis. And so the doctor just kind of goes right into it. And also, it's good to check your insurance because IVF can be very, very expensive.
Okay. But your insurance?
My insurance covered it. So they covered 80% of it.
That's a lot.
Yes.
What kind of insurance do you have? Like, what did you have at the time?
It's through my job. I have Anthem Blue Cross.
Okay, Anthem Blue Cross. Because that was something that people were asking, just in terms of, like, the cost or insurance, like, how does that work? So to know that your insurance I think that's important.
That's very important. The insurance covers, well, my insurance in this case covered 80% of it, but it's very expensive though. I can't even tell you how much it'll cost without the insurance. I've heard people pay $30,000, $20,000. Like that's a lot, you know, and a lot of it comes out of your
And
pocket.
that's like just for one try or like
one transfer.
One transfer.
Right. Or just the process, not okay, I would have to explain a little bit more.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it's just for one transfer. Okay, so after with the consultation, we did more tests just to make sure that I don't have cyst on my ovaries or there's no abnormalities with my insides, right? I did a hysteroscopy. Have you heard what it's called? Hysteroscopy. So that's the thing that checked my fallopian tubes, that checked my my ovaries and everything, and then that was clear. So then what they do is they start you on birth control. Good. Okay. So medicine is controlling your body at this point. The medicine is going to make your body think that it's getting ready to have a baby.
Got it.
So I started taking birth control, and that was for about 10 days. So then they want you to do shots. So the shots are getting you ready for the egg retrieval. So this is in the egg retrieval stage.
In the shots, what is it like? Is it hormonal?
It's hormones. It's hormones.
Okay.
It's hormones to get your so they can retrieve your eggs. So it's an egg retrieval. So the goal is to get as many eggs as possible, so that way they can inseminate the eggs with his sperm to create an embryo.
Got it.
And the embryo is the baby.
Got it.
Okay.
This is cool.
So so it's a long process. It's not something that's just going to take a couple weeks. Like I started this process in April. I didn't find out I was pregnant until August.
Okay. So in that time, that duration, are you taking shots like daily, weekly?
Yes. So let me pull up my timeline.
Yes. Jade came prepared today, y'all, because there's this happened like 5 years ago.
Yeah, this is 5 years ago, guys. Okay. So, so the egg retrieval portion of it, you get your eggs out, right? So that's something that they do. They put you to sleep for.
Okay.
So after you take your shots, I think I took shots for about 2 weeks, and those are just shots that you go through your stomach. And I can't remember, guys. I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact shots that the name of the shots, but I know that it was hormones. So
did you feel different?
Yes.
Okay.
So somebody asked me if the egg retrieval was painful. I'm not gonna lie, the egg retrieval is very painful. And it depends on how many eggs you get too, because you can overextend your ovaries too in that process. And I don't think that happened to me because mine wasn't as painful. I did know somebody that did do it, and she said that she was in excruciating pain for like a couple of days.
Because it's like your stuff is just working on a whole other timeline. Okay.
So yeah. So that part was painful. So I got my eggs out. I was able to get, if I remember right, it was 16 eggs that they were able to retrieve.
Okay.
A lot of people get a lot more, though. Like some people get like in their 20s. Somebody got 42. That's a lot. And I can't imagine how much pain they were in.
What are we going to do with all 42 of these eggs now?
But the thing is, when you get eggs, I guess like they say like it's a 50-50-50 rule.
Okay.
So say if you got, in my case, I got 16 eggs, right? 14 of those were mature, they said. And then out of those, 9 were fertilized with his sperm.
So there was a possibility that you could have had 9 embryos come out of that?
Yeah, I did have 9 embryos.
Oh.
I had 9 embryos. But, okay, it's kind of confusing, guys.
No, I'm trying to understand this because I'm like, I've heard, like, I try to watch some videos on YouTube, and I'm like, wait, so then do you have to pick out of there? Like, I'm still trying to wrap my head, but let me just be quiet and listen.
Okay. So I will literally have to make a video for you guys or give you guys like a timeline of everything because it's a very long timeline. Yeah. I'm just kind of fast forwarding and skipping over some steps, just like the main stuff. So after they got my my eggs, they fertilized them with the sperm, right? So I had 9 embryos. At this point, there's something called PGS testing.
Okay.
A lot of people don't do PGS testing. It is an extra cost, and that's something that my insurance didn't cover. So PGS testing will it basically does like a genetics test.
Okay.
It determines like if the chromosomes are matching.
Got it.
So if it was any abnormalities to the chromosomes, then that could have been resulted in a miscarriage, for example, right?
Got it. So I have a question. You said they fertilized your eggs with his sperm.
Right.
So do they have to do some kind of sperm retrieval and like sort through this? Like, I don't know how to ask this.
Okay,
Like
yes.
in my
Okay.
mind, I'm like,
Okay,
they
sorry.
have to.
That is a
they
step that-
picking through your
Yeah,
eggs,
that's
but
a-
it's like, how are we getting this?
Okay, yes. So I'm sorry, skip that step.
Sorry.
So as they're doing my retrieval,
Okay.
they actually put him in a room
Mm-hmm.
and it has like magazines.
It's like a spank bank.
Yeah, it's a spank bank for
Okay.
sure. They give him like headphones.
I've
they give him
always been curious, where are these spank banks?
Yes.
I want to see one just out of
saw it.
curiosity.
I definitely saw it. And yeah.
You said I was there.
I was there. I left him
Okay.
alone though. Because you have to be.
It's a whole other thought process.
It's a whole thought process.
Yeah.
So he basically gave them his sample,
Okay.
and that's when they get it. So they try to do a fresh sample, but let's back up a few steps before this. They do tell you that you can give another sample before the whole procedure, and they can freeze his sperm,
Okay.
just in case they can't get good sperm on the day of the retrieval.
Got it.
Okay.
This is so like.
Sorry, it's like so much that goes
know
into
what it
this.
is? It's. I think these conversations are so
Yeah.
necessary because it affects so many people. But it's like, why don't we know these
Yeah.
things? Like, we hear about them, or people. You may see people joke about them, or like. But it's like this stuff helps people.
Yeah, it does.
It helps.
It really does.
Like.
And during that time, guys, like they tell you like you can't be intimate, you can't have sex with your partner. Like that's a struggle.
that
It's a
is a
struggle
lot,
mentally
yeah.
because then you feel like you start feeling unwanted. Like
I'm doing all this stuff.
yeah,
I'm in pain.
yeah,
like,
and it's like you feel ugly, and then on top of that, the shots make you so bloated. Like I literally looked like I was 6 months pregnant when I went to go get my egg retrieval because
Your body.
your ovaries are like, imagine like they're like little pennies or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just turn into freaking grapes, like in your body. That's how
and
it
there
feels
was
like.
16 of them.
Yeah, they were able to get 16 out. I
16
don't
out.
know.
Oh, so there could have been more. So you literally just like,
Yeah,
it's like little sacks.
yeah.
I'm having the craziest visuals right now, but it's the body is so cool. And like the miracles, and the fact that somebody figured this stuff out
I know. That's
is
what I always think about.
incredible. Like
It's so crazy.
science, medicine is I have like I'm wishy-washy when it comes to doctors, but when I hear things like this, I'm like, how can you not believe in miracles? Like, how can you not believe in science? Like, how? So they've now is it inseminated or they fertilized? Okay, they fertilized your embryos or your eggs with his sperm, and then you said it was from the 16, 9 were mature.
Yeah.
And so when you say not mature, what does that mean?
So 14 were mature. So
Or 14,
14 were able to be inseminated with the sperm.
Okay.
And then 9 were able to be fertilized with the sperm.
Okay.
So, sorry, now jumping back into the PGS testing. Now, you don't have to do this. Some doctors don't even like recommend it. But in our case, I was like, I'm not doing this over again. Like,
Got it.
I'm a one and done. I'm not putting my body through this again. So we're going to hope for the best. So they, I did the PGS testing, and that was the biggest cost. Like that was out of pocket. I had to pay $5,000 just for them to biopsy the actual embryos.
And so when you said they were when they biopsy, are they looking for matching chromosomes? What is that?
Yeah,
Like,
so
what does
like,
that mean?
like to determine if your baby's gonna have like Down syndrome. You know how like when
Got
you're
it,
pregnant
got
already,
it.
and then
Yeah,
they
the
do
genetic
the test.
testing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
Okay.
basically that before they put the embryos in you.
Ah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think I just wanted to be sure. And I didn't want to have a miscarriage. They were kind of scaring me, to be honest. They were like, yeah, you can have a miscarriage. Your baby can come out with a deformity. And, like, they were just saying all this stuff. So I was like...
That's heavy.
Yeah.
That's very heavy. Gosh, I'm trying to still wrap my head around this and understand, like, I'm not even living this. Like, you guys are really living this. Okay. And at this point, are your families involved, or
Nope.
are you just still you guys?
No, it's still us.
How is the relation? I know you were just saying,
I'm really
like,
close with my family. I'm really close
Okay.
to my mom and my
oh no, I see you guys. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I'm also like, I'm thinking about if I were to go through this experience with my partner without my family, and I like just the ups and downs, because it seems like it's a very emotional process. It's a very mental. It has to be spiritual on a whole other level, and then to have to like keep face around them or act like things are normal. How, like, yeah, I'm just...
Because I didn't want
That in
anybody to
itself.
put any extra judgment
Got it.
towards
Okay.
me. Like, I feel like this was a very personal choice for us already.
Yes.
It was already very stressful. And, you know, when you have other people's opinions coming in, it gets more stressful.
For people who are considering IVF, do you think that they should keep it to them and their partner like you guys did? Or is it like just after you've gone through the process? Or do you think it would have been different if you guys had different external support?
I really it depends on your
Your
personality
family. Okay.
and your family, but I would do it the same way.
Okay.
I think it's kind of like the equivalent of you first finding out that you're pregnant and you don't want to share it with the world, and then you want to make sure everything's okay first before you share it.
I agree.
So
I agree. I feel like the next kid I have, people aren't going to even know I'm pregnant. I'm just going to pop out with a whole baby or two. And they're going to be like,
sending you twin vibes.
they're coming. I'm accepting them, y'all. Okay. Yes. Okay. So back to our beautiful eggs.
Okay,
That
so
have been fertilized.
So after they had been fertilized, that's when I told my family. So I didn't go through with because after that you have to take more shots.
Okay.
So these are intramuscular shots now. So it's basically hormones going through like your muscle, and that was
Okay.
like in your butt.
Okay.
And you guys, my husband was so freaking amazing because he gave me all them shots because I was not about to do that.
About how many shots do you feel like this whole process? Like, I know that's such a random.
Shoot, a lot. Because it was like some were 3 times a day. I want to say like 80.
I commend all women that go like.
And mind you, it's in the same spot. So like you could either do the right side or the left side. And I was just switching them
Got it.
because it gets sore. So like it was like so sore that if you touched it, it hurt.
Did it affect your daily life, like in terms of work
No.
or like? Okay.
No, it didn't affect my life. No, it would.
Okay.
I just was walking around like everything was normal, so it's
Okay.
fine.
Do you think that weighed on you in a way that was like?
No, because I was actually really excited. I was
Okay, good.
I was
Good, good,
excited.
It was happening.
It was happening. Yeah.
It was happening. It was between
The
you
worry
and your man.
that
Like, it was happening.
yeah, the worry that it wasn't going to happen, that's the stressful part. Like you're doing all this, you're paying all this money for it to fail, because some people will go through all this and they don't even get any eggs.
Yeah.
Or they'll go through it and then they'll do the whole process and then they only have one embryo at the end. So you have this one shot to do this, and if it doesn't work, then you do it all over again.
Were there any unexpected moments for you or your husband during this process? Besides the actual process itself, but like,
not that. No, the doctor was very straightforward. Like they basically, like if I show you all these papers that I have, they literally they give you a calendar. They give you a calendar of when you're first going to start your birth control, when you're first going to start your first shots, when you're going to get your egg retrieval. The only unexpected thing was like, say like if you have to wait till you like start your period, right?
Got it.
So like things can change.
Got
That's
it.
the only thing that's really unexpected because it's not going to be exactly that day. You know, so if you don't start your period, it'll be the next week, and then the calendar will change. They have to write you a whole new plan all over again. But nothing unexpected until I got pregnant, girl.
she got pregnant, y'all.
I did.
How was that? What was that feeling like? So wait, so when they do that, do they put all
No.
All okay.
Okay, so that's the next step. So
Yeah,
okay,
because
so,
in my mind, I'm like, you've got all these fertilized eggs. Are they just in you, or is this a
No.
total crapshoot? Like,
so we'll fast forward. We ended up doing the PGS testing,
Okay.
and then
would you recommend other families do the PGS testing?
I personally would. If you do have the funds to do it, then I would, because 2 were abnormal.
Okay.
So can you imagine if they would have put those two in me?
Yeah, and
you
then
know?
it would have been like, we did this whole thing.
You're right. But also
Okay.
7 were normal. So, and also you get to find out the gender. The PGS testing lets you see like how many girls you would have and how many boys.
Could you then freeze those eggs, say for a later?
Yeah, you could freeze your embryos. Yeah, that's what we did actually. So, and then some people can do a fresh transfer. So, like, say after they retrieved my eggs, they could have put his sperm in there right away and then could have transferred in me. But we opted to do the PGS testing, so they had to freeze them.
It. This is so, like, science is so crazy right now. I'm about to go watch some more videos of this. Like, I'm trying to understand more. Like,
Yeah.
this is very interesting.
Sorry,
Okay.
guys, I'm all over the place because it's like so much. I'm trying to get as much information out there, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And I'm sorry if I'm not helping, but I'm like a little kid right now learning, just because there have been a few women who've come to me recently with, I don't know why y'all be coming to me like I know all the information, but I'm happy that you feel safe to come with me with questions, and like I try and help figure them out, or be like, hey, I don't know anything about this, but like, let me hit up Jade. Like, Jade can help guide or, like, you know, give information. So I'm all about referring and, like, pulling out, you know, going to my network of just in my community of people to help bring information. So,
Right.
yeah, this is the point of this. Like, this is what we're here for. So, okay. So you guys have...
Yeah, so we ended up having...
You get to pick... Did you guys... So you picked the gender?
We
picked...
Yeah, we ended up having... according to this, it was 5 males and 2 female. So we were like, now the next step is how many embryos do you want to transfer? I'm like, 1.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a misconception though, actually, on this.
Okay.
Because a lot of people think the more embryos that you transfer, the better chance that you will get to have a baby out of it, right?
Okay.
But that's not the case, really. It's
Okay.
really the quality of the embryo.
Got it.
So that was my mindset. That was my mindset coming in. I was like, well, let's just do 2, and hopefully we'll get 1. Because my thing was, I'm not doing this again. Like, no. So I ended up putting 2. And that was a hard conversation because the doctors will tell you, like, oh, twin pregnancy is a high risk. And you think, like, okay, that's fine. But you don't understand the thought
What
of a
that
high-risk
means.
pregnancy. A high-risk pregnancy is really high risk. Like, it's scary. So during my whole pregnancy, I was freaking terrified the whole time because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on in your stomach. You don't know, is there a heartbeat? Like, is your baby's moving? Are they getting enough food?
One of my questions also would be, like, when you do IVF, like, I know anyone can have a miscarriage. I've had a miscarriage. And it can happen at any time frame. Is there a higher rate of miscarriage and with IVF pregnancies? Like,
It's the same.
it's the same.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same thing. So you could still have a miscarriage doing IVF. That's why, like, a lot of people that just have that one embryo, it's scary.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, okay, like, hopefully this embryo sticks to my lining, right? You don't want it to go. So when they do the transfer, they tell you not to test because there's something called a trigger shot, and the trigger shot has HGC in it.
Okay.
And HGC is what tells you, like, the pregnancy test saying that you're pregnant, right?
Yes.
So they tell you not to test until...
because it could give you
right,
a false
it
positive.
can give you a false positive.
Oh, this is so stressful.
It's so stressful. Okay, so...
Did you guys do any kind of therapy or like...
No, we only had each other. That's why it's so important. Like, we didn't have the best communication before, but going through this has taught us so much. Going
Okay.
through all of this,
You
like,
guys were able to dig into each other.
you have to communicate. You have to express how you feel, and because it is crazy. Like, this whole process is just crazy. So we chose the 2. I'll tell you about the transfer. So we did the transfer. The transfer was like 5 seconds. Like it was literally like if you were getting.
It's so crazy how these things happen. You do all this work and then they're like, here you go.
It was so easy. He was like, it's basically like they just put like, what's the thing that we get as women when
Pap smear.
Yeah, pap smear, exactly.
Be like,
literally
cold metal thing in.
That's how it was. You put it in. He gets the catheter. He
Open
has
it
the
up.
embryos, and then he puts it in, and he's like, okay, you're pregnant.
That's beautiful though, but still, I think I would have just melted and been like, I know the exact second that I got pregnant with you.
Yeah.
Like, I would tell my kids this all the time. Look, you better not mess with me. I know the exact
Exactly.
second I got pregnant with you, and just how I brought you in this world, I could take you out. No, not really, but
It's literally
I love
crazy.
that.
It
I love
was
that.
It was crazy. I was like, and you just go home and you're like, well, I guess.
So
I'm-
you put two in, and then what happened?
So
like-
that is the worst part of it all, the waiting.
Yeah.
So you're waiting. You're literally waiting for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I took a test. Okay. I sure
She
did.
said HGC and all. I was in there.
I took a test like 5 days after, and I saw the little line. I was like, okay, but you don't want to get your hopes up too. Like
Yeah.
that's one thing you just throughout this process, I would recommend just don't get your hopes up because you just never know what can happen. So I didn't even tell Ted I took a test. I just took it, and it was positive. And then it was like day 8. I took another one.
I'm proud of you for waiting for 5 days. I would have taken
I
a test. I
had
feel
to.
like I would take a test every day and been like, okay, we're still in the clear.
It's
Like, we're still in the
crazy.
clear.
Dude, there's so many things, and it's just so much that goes into it because besides the injections, you have to take pills by mouth. You have to take pills up your vagina.
Wait.
Yes.
I didn't know any of this stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so there's the hormonal shots in the beginning.
Yes.
And then you have the intramuscular shots, which you alternated because
Yes.
sometimes you have 3 a day. And then you're taking an oral pill, and then you're like a depository.
Yeah, it's a depository.
Oh, they're like, we are fertilizing this
Yes,
body
it's
every
serious.
other
Like,
which way.
Yeah, because your body, technically, it's like your body is not pregnant. All these
Mm-hmm.
medications are making your body think that it's pregnant.
Got it.
So that's what it is. And then
It's like warming the oven up.
exactly.
Okay.
So once you do that, then eventually, so I would say after, it was 13 weeks. 13 weeks after I even got my embryos transferred, that's when I stopped taking the medication. Then my body was actually pregnant.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is a process.
yeah.
I didn't realize like how long it is. Like
Yes.
to me in my mind, yeah. This is I guess from you said from April to August,
Yes.
and even previous to April. It started
Yeah.
or it began in April.
No, it began in April. That's
Okay,
when I
so
started. That's
April,
when I
May,
talked to the
June,
doctor.
July, August, yeah.
hmm
Okay.
Yes, girl.
So at what point, like, did you find, like, was that confirmation, like, you are 100% pregnant?
So then you go to get blood work done, and then they
Okay.
test your HGC levels, and from there it's supposed to double. So if it starts doubling, then you know like it's working, you're pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
and if not, unfortunately, that means you're probably gonna miscarry that,
Got it.
or not even miscarry. It just didn't work. It didn't stick.
Got it.
Doesn't necessarily mean you had a miscarriage. So yeah, the doctor called me and she's like, okay, well, it's positive, it's doubling. And then, but I still was taking pregnancy tests.
Yes. You're like, I'm still making
And at this
sure.
point, my family didn't even know that I transferred 2 embryos. They thought I only did 1. All my friends and family only thought I did 1.
Did you tell them at all during your pregnancy, or was
I
it
did. So I did a gender reveal.
like, okay.
So the gender reveal, it was like, oh, okay, we're going to announce the gender of the baby, right? So the first one, we did a little smoke signal one,
Okay.
right? So it was pink. And then I was like, they're like, yeah. Everybody was like, yeah, I knew it. You're having a girl. And I was like, wait, don't you want to know what the next one is? So that was fun. I had fun with it.
Guys, this is like my fantasy, twin
was-
fantasy.
it
I don't
was-
want to tell anybody. I just want to be like,
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this. So, okay. And now you guys have 2 beautiful children.
Yes.
You have a boy and a girl.
Yes.
You guys are married.
Yes.
Your kids are super smart. I see them in videos. I've seen like videos online before, and I'm like, I love these children. Like, I don't know you guys, but I'm your auntie from afar. Like, that's how I see it.
We could switch kids.
Oh, I'll
Just
take
for
a day.
days.
I'll take a day.
I've always wanted to switch kids with somebody and see how it is.
Oh, that should be like a new like show. Like rather than how they had like wife swap,
Yes.
it should be like kid swap. Kid swap. Be like, yeah, you can have that little picky eater over there.
Right.
I got it. You got it. Okay, I love this. Thank you. I love it. I love it. So how old are your babies now?
They're 4.
They're 4. See, y'all, they're like, miracles do happen. But those tough conversations, I think, are really necessary. And at the end of the day, like, you guys got through it. And it's so funny because I meet people sometimes, they're like, oh, I'm rooting for you online. Like, and I feel like you're that family for me where it's like, I didn't know the full story, but I've seen little bits and pieces. And it's like, I've been rooting for you guys. And then I thought you guys were married already.
No.
And then when you got married, I was like, they did all this without even being married.
Yeah, we were
like
young.
this is, and you were young. Like this is, yeah. Like I'm proud of you guys for getting through it. And I feel like you did have a very like blessed situation because it doesn't always happen on the first try. Like I know some people who've spent high in like, you know, the $100,000 because it took multiple times. Cool. So is there any like final advice that you would want to share for, I'm going to put the IVF warrior mamas, families out there, the dads?
I would just say communication is a big part. Like talk to your partner beforehand, talk to your partner about like how you're feeling, even during the process. It's a very emotional process. So my best advice is just communicate.
Are there like, yeah, just communicate. And you figure that out. You got to figure that out.
Yeah.
I think once you figure that out, everything else can kind of fall in place. Like,
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn now, even like, I'm totally like, what do I want in my husband? And like God-fearing and a God-fearing communicator is literally like hand in hand for me right now. Because I'm like, with those two things, I feel like you can navigate and figure out any obstacle that comes your way. Cool. And then I just there were a few little questions. Okay. Dun. We talked about the cost. We talked about the reason. This was one thing I want to do a whole other episode on pregnancies because people are bringing in different types of pregnancies, partial molar pregnancies, which I had never heard of. Yeah, so I'm going to find someone to talk about pregnancies because
And I will say, too, I want to leave
it opens up a lot of doors.
So there is complications too with high risk. So when you're thinking about transferring 1 or 2, I would seriously have a conversation about that because people think like, oh, I'm going to transfer 2, be 2 and done. But like I said, going back on the high risk pregnancy, it's high risk for a reason. So I went to the hospital when I was 27 weeks.
Okay.
Because my cervix was short. So regardless of the IVF doesn't mean that you're going to have a great outcome. So I went to the hospital at 27 weeks, and then I had to stay there until they were born. So I was like literally in a little tiny room, my bed and Ted's cot, and then we were in the hospital for, I believe it was 7 weeks until they were born. Literally.
Yeah, we got to bring you back. This is a whole, like, I think pregnancy stories are so important to share. Like the journey to pregnancy is important, but then it's like now that I've become a mom and like I'm doing all, getting into this doula work and building my recovery, like I'm building a little women's health recovery center. There's so much that goes on that we just don't talk about, or like we haven't been raised to talk about, or it's like, for me, it was always you keep your business to yourself.
Right.
But there's times where you need that community, you need that support, you need that understanding. And there's times where you don't have anyone else to talk to, but you're like, hey, you look like me, or hey, you resonate with me, or hey, I like what you and your partner did.
Right.
How do I achieve that for myself and my family? So again, thank you, Jade, for sharing with us.
Thank you.
And thank you to your husband as well, because this is his story as well. Yeah, this is really cool. I'm excited. I feel like online people were kind of hesitant with questions. I think just because it is such a touchy subject. But I'm praying that once they see the episode and kind of feel your vibe and your energy, hear your story, that they'll open more questions. And, you know, we're going to link some of Jade's. She has a YouTube channel where she shows some of her journey, link some of those videos, and just so that you guys can also connect, because you know, building that family community is really important. And if it's a matter of helping other families, gotta do it. Like, you have to do it.
Yeah, any questions? I mean, there's like so much that goes. This was just literally a snippet of it. So, like, any questions that anyone has, feel free to ask. I know I was kind of all over the place, but
it's okay. It's our first time. It's our first time. Like,
there's so much that goes into this. So if there's like specific questions, let me know, or let Ara know, and
we can always do like a part 2. So like I said, put your questions, your comments, curiosities. If you have, like, if you're seeking advice, like, let us know what you want to know. Like, if you want a referral, like, I know you guys went to different doctors. If you're local, you know, maybe that's something that you can help with. Because I feel like there's so much to weed out of through the process and the journey. So just what questions to ask, how to go about it, how to find an insurance maybe that, like, what are those insurance codes? Like, now that I gave birth, I'm like, what insurance codes you got over here? Like, what are your what are you charging me for? Because these things are so expensive.
Yes.
It's
so expensive. It's ridiculous.
It's a real commitment. Do you have a WTF?
I have many. Okay. So my WTF moment was my kids putting bananas in the microwave. Literally, they got their little toy, stood up on there, and put my freshly bought bananas in the microwave and turned it on.
Do they explode?
No.
What do?
They were just warm.
There you go, guys. Bananas in the microwave. Beach chocolate. Yeah. I used to put marshmallows in the microwave and watch them explode. So, you know, do some science experiments. Do some science experiments with your kids. That's my advice of the week. Inspire them and keep them going. Science is great. Science can change lives, and we need more scientists out there, y'all. More doctors and Okay. Thank you, Jade, for joining us on the Think Loud crew. Where can people find you?
At Jade Ariel on Instagram.
And then we'll link her Instagram, link her YouTube in there. And thank you guys. Don't forget to go comment, like, and subscribe on our YouTube. And you can listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. And everyone have a great weekend. You can find me at RKylN, and you can find our Instagram at Think Loud Crew. Thank you.